Hello dear students, a warm welcome to this session. Today the topic which we are going to cover is FAYOL'S administrative theory. FAYOL'S is nothing but a name. The objectives, what are you going to learn by attending this session? First, you will be able to identify and describe the key principles of Henry Fayol's administrative management theory, and you will be able to understand the concept of scalar chain and its importance in organizational hierarchy, including its advantages and disadvantages. You will also be able to critically evaluate the strengths and limitations of Fayol's theory, considering its relevance and applicability in contemporary organizational setting. So dear students, first let's try to understand actually what is administrative theory management is about. The theory of administrative management is a body of learning that deals with the principles and ways of organizing and driving work. It is involved in the structure of organization, allocating resources, and motivate and lead employees. Henry Fayol is considered to be father of administrative theory. It's been 80 years, but even now he was the first person who emphasized and came up with this concept. So let's know more first about Henry Fayol. Who is he? What is his background? And then we will go up and know more about this theory. So let's have a brief introduction about Henry Fayol. So Henry Fayol was from a French mining engineer. He worked there. He worked as a mining executive. He was an author who used to write his organizational practices and director of mines who developed a general theory of business administration. Fayol is often recognized as one of the most influential contributors to modern management theory. His work laid the foundation for much of what we understand today about management and organizational structure. Fayol graduated from National Schools of Mines in 1860 and began his career as an engineer at the large mining company. By 1888, Fayol has risen to the position of managing director, a role in which he demonstrated his exceptional administrative abilities. During his tenure, he transformed the struggling company into a successful enterprise, which promoted him to formalize his managerial practices and share them through writings and lectures. So developing a theory is one side, but promoting and publishing it is important to communicate it to the world. Now, development of Fayol's administrative theory has emerged from his extensive experience managing at large organizations. Unlike his contemporary Frederick Taylor, who focused on the efficiency of individual workers, Fayol's interest lay in broader scope of organizational management and administration. In 1916, Fayol published his seminal work, General and Industrial Management, in which he outlined his theory of administration. His insights were based on his practical experience as well as his observations of administrative practices across various organizations. Fayol's theory was among the first to conceptualize management as a distinct discipline separate from other businesses functions like accounting or production. So, FAYOL'S administrative theory is built on several key principles and functions that he believed were universal to effective management. Now, these principles were designed to provide managers with a framework for organizing and operating businesses efficiently and effectively. Before we get into details, let's start a simple exercise to help you imagine what it's like to be a manager. Sometimes we may not like the manager, but if we be in his seat, we will understand how it would be. So imagine you just been promoted to a senior management position in a large company. Your new job is to oversee various departments and ensure that everything runs smoothly. To help set the scene, consider these questions. What are the main tasks you would need to perform every day to keep the company on track? If you're already working, you can imagine that company, or else you can select any sector of your choice. How would you make sure everyone knows their roles and responsibilities? How would you motivate and lead your team effectively? And the fourth question, how would you ensure that all departments are working together towards common goals? And the last one, what steps would you take to monitor the company's performance and make necessary adjustments? If you're still students, you haven't started working, you can browse on this information and own it and start answering them. I would suggest you to pause this video for a while, take a pen and a book and try to answer these questions. That will help you understand, how to think from a manager's mind. Okay, so assuming you did this activity, we are proceeding ahead. As you think about these questions, you're touching on the same key areas that Henry Fayol identified in his theory. Fayol's administrative theory breaks down the role of managers into specific functions and principles designed to help you manage an organization effectively. Let's dive into these functions and principles now. So, let's start knowing about Fayol's administrative theory. Fayol's administrative theory is anchored in his identification of 5 primary functions of management and 14 principles of administration. Yes, now we are going to go through all those 14 principles and 5 functions. They'll be lengthy, but don't worry, for each and everything I will provide you example. The first function is planning. Fayol emphasized the importance of planning as a foundational managerial function. Planning involves setting objectives and determining the best course of action to achieve them. It requires foresight, the ability to predict future conditions. Sometimes you should be able to predict how will be the future. For example, if a manager is working in an ice cream company, the demand of ice cream supply will be very high in summer. He should be able to predict that, and the formulation of a coherent plan of actions. Fayol argues that a well-constructed plan is essential for guiding the organization towards its goals. For example, a company planning to launch a new product might create a detailed timeline, budget, marketing strategy to ensure the successful release of the product. The second function, organizing. It involves structuring the organization in a way that facilitates the achievement of its objectives. This includes the creation of formal structure of authority, the allocation of resources, division of work among employees who will do what work. Fayol believed that organizing ensures that everyone in the organization knows their roles and responsibilities, which in turn enhances efficiency and coordination. For example, a hospital organizes its staff into different departments like surgery, emergency care, administration, each with specific role and responsibilities. Now coming the third one, commanding or leading is a function that involves directing and guiding employees to perform their task. Fayol emphasized the importance of effective leadership in motivating employees, in maintaining discipline, and foster a positive work environment. Good communication skills, the ability to make decisions, and the capacity to inspire others are crucial attributes of a successful manager. For example, a sales manager leads their team by setting sales target, providing training, motivating the team. Sometimes they may not be able to achieve and feel demotivated to achieve their goals through regular meetings and feedback sessions. And then the fourth one is coordinating. It is about ensuring that all parts of organization are working together. It's not that accounts department works up to them, the other departments works up to them. Ultimately, they all have to coordinate. Now, this involves synchronizing activities, resolving conflicts, and ensuring that efforts are aligned within the organization's overall objectives. FAYOL believe that coordination is essential for maintaining organizational coherence and avoiding duplication of efforts. For example, during a major project, a project manager ensures that the marketing, production, and finance, all teams are working in sync to meet the project deadline and objectives. And the next function comes controlling. It involves monitoring performance to ensure that activities are being carried out as planned. This includes setting performance standards, measuring actual performance, and taking corrective actions when necessary. FAYOL viewed controlling as a continuous process that helps maintain quality and efficiency. For example, a quality control manager in a manufacturing unit regularly inspects the product to ensure that meet the quality standard and take corrective action if any defective piece is found. With which we are done covering 5 different functions offered by Henry Fayol. Now we will proceed to 14 principles of administration. Okay, so the first one is division of work. Specialization allows employees to become experts in their specific task, leading to increased efficiency and productivity. Fayol argued that dividing work into smaller specialized tasks enable workers to develop expertise and perform their jobs more effectively. For example, in a car manufacturing plant, different employees specialize in a specific task such as assembling engines, painting car, installing electrical system. Everyone there are a different expertise. And the next one comes authority and responsibility. Authority is the right to give orders, while responsibility is the obligation to complete the task. Fayol emphasized that with authority comes responsibility, and managers must balance the two to ensure accountability and effective leadership. For example, a project manager has the authority to delegate tasks to team members, and he is also responsible for the successful completion of a project. And next comes discipline. These days, in a modern organizations, this word of a discipline is not directly used, but in those days, this was expected directly from the employees. It involves adherence to organizational rules and policies. Fayol believed that discipline is essential for maintaining order and ensuring that employees act in organizational best interest. Managers must enforce discipline fairly and consistently. For example, an organization enforces a strict code of conduct that employees must follow, such as punctuality, ethical behavior, with clear consequences if they violate them. Next comes unity of command. Employees should receive orders from only one superior. These days it is not the case. Sometimes when there are cross-functional teams, a single employee might work under 2 managers. So Fayol argued that this principle prevents confusion and conflict as clear lines of authority and communications are established. For example, in a retail store, a cashier receives instruction only from their direct supervisor rather than from multiple managers. Next comes unity of direction, unity of command, unity of direction. All activities within the organization should be aligned with a single plan and objective. FAYOL emphasized that unity of direction ensures that efforts are coordinated and focused on achieving the organization goals. For example, a tech company aligned all its departments such as development, marketing and sales towards a common goal of launching a new software project. Next comes subordination of individual interest to the general interest. The interest of organization should take precedence over individual interest. FAYOL believed that employees should prioritize the organization's objectives over personal goals to ensure collective success. For example, during critical project deadlines, employee might need to work extra hours. Let's take a tax company. When the season comes, sometimes the employees has to work for a long time because they have a lot of demand to book the taxes. So to ensure the project success, putting the organization needs above their personal conveniences. And then comes, which is very important for all of us when you're working in an organization, is remuneration. Compensation should be fair and reward employees for their contribution. FAYOL argued that equitable remuneration motivates employees and foster loyalty and productivity. For example, a company offers competitive salaries, bonuses and benefits to their employees based on their performance and market standards. So we completed 7. There are 7 more principles, and the 8th one is centralization, which refers to the extent to which decision making authority is concentrated at the top of an organizational hierarchy. FAYOL believed that the degree of centralization should depend on a specific circumstances of an organization. For example, in a small startup, decision making might be highly centralized with the CEO making most of the strategic decisions, whereas in a large multinational corporations, decisions might be more decentralized. And then comes the scalar chain, which is the line of authority that extends from a top to the bottom of an organization. The line of authority represents the path followed by all communications, whether organizing from or directed. That deviating this chain is sometimes necessary to ensure fast and effective communication. For example, in a military organization, orders and information flows through a well-defined hierarchy from a highest ranking officer to the lowest ranking officer, right? So to make you understand more, I am presenting this illustration. Just observe carefully. It's a scalar chain where you can see that vertically there is an hierarchical communication. So if E wants to communicate to S, he has to proceed D, C, B, A, right? So let's take an example. If T wants to communicate with O, under the scalar chain, information will first flow upward from D to S through C, B and A, and then downward from S to O through L, M and N. So thus communication will normally be time consuming process. In order to allow swift action, T and O should be allowed to exchange information directly by using gangplank. So let's go back to this image. If you can see, there is a dotted line between D and O, that is known as gangplank. So what FAYOL says is only in emergency situations where you have to quickly communicate, a D can directly communicate with O. But not always. It should not be entertained, because FAYOL feels that is a disrespect to the higher authorities. So you can see the rigidity that the communication should always follow the hierarchical order. So next comes the 10th one, that is order. It involves arranging resources including people and materials in an organized manner. FAYOL believed that proper organization of resources ensures efficiency and minimizes wasted effort. For example, a warehouse implements a systematic layout for storing products, making it easy to locate and retrieve items quickly. And next comes equity. Managers should treat employees fairly with respect. FAYOL argues that equitable treatment fosters loyalty, motivation, and a positive work environment. For example, a company ensures that all employees have equal opportunity for career advancement and that performance reviews are conducted impartially. And then comes stability of tenure of a personnel. High employee turnover can be destructive to the organizations. FAYOL believe that stability of a tenure promotes or provides loyalty and allows employees to develop expertise in their role. A company, for example, offers long-term contracts and career development programs to retain skilled employees and reduce turnover. Turnover is nothing but the number of employees who are leaving the organization. Next comes initiative. Managers should encourage employees to take initiative and contribute ideas. FAYOL believe that fostering initiative enhances innovation and allows employees to take ownership of their own work. For example, a tech company has an open door policy to encourage employees to propose new ideas and solutions, leading to continuous innovation. Next comes E-Spirit D Corps. This is a last principle. It is nothing but promoting team spirit and unity among employees which is essential for organization success. FAYOL emphasizes the importance of building a positive organizational culture where employees work together harmoniously and peacefully. For example, a company organizes team building activities and social events to strengthen relationships and foster a collaborative work environment. So these are the 14 principles offered by Henry FAYOL. So if you can see, where can we apply this theory? So this can be applied different areas. The first area is organizational structure. FAYOL'S principles guide the design of organizational structure. For example, the principle of division of work influence the creation of specialized departments, while the scalar chain principle informs the development of clear line of authority. Next comes leadership and management development. FAYOL'S emphasize on authority and responsibility as well as his focus on functions of management, informs leadership and management development programs. Organizations use these principles to train managers in effective decision making, communication and leadership skills. Performance management. The controlling function and principles such as discipline and remuneration are founded to performance management systems. Organization can use these principles to set performance standards, monitor employees' performance and provide fair compensation. Next comes change management. FAYOL'S principles of unity of command and unity of direction are essential in change management. During organizational changes, maintaining clear lines of authority and ensuring that all activities are aligned with the change objectives are critical for the success. Then comes corporate governance. FAYOL principles of centralization, equity and stability of tenure inform corporate governance factors. These principles guide decision making, how to make decision, promote fair treatment of employees and ensure there is stability in leadership roles. Then comes team building and culture. So the 14th principle which I shared you, E-Spirit D Corps, is crucial in team building and fostering positive organizational environment. Organizations that prioritize team spirit and unity create a collaborative and motivated workforce, and that helps in reducing politics and gossiping within the organization. Next comes strategic planning. FAYOL'S planning function is integral to strategic planning processes. Organizations can use his principles to set long-term goals, develop strategic plans, and allocate resources effectively. Yes, his theory contributed a lot, but nothing comes with without a criticism and limitations, is it not? So there are certain criticisms and limitations for Henry Fayol's administrative theory, and one of it is overemphasis on formal structure. Critics argue that Fayol's theory places too much emphasis on formal organization structure and rigid principles, potentially stifling creativity and adaptability in dynamic environments. And next comes lack of human elements. Some critics believe that Fayol's theory does not adequately address, they are using the word adequately because one of the principle is equity, where he says treat all employees equally. But he haven't mentioned much about the work-life balance, always focused on the work. Social aspects of management such as motivation, employee satisfaction and organization culture. Next comes context-specific applicability. Fayol's principles were developed based on his experiences in a specific industrial context, such as their applicability may vary across different industries and organizational context. Simplistic view of management. Fayol's theory is sometimes viewed as overly simplistic as it does not account for complexes and nuances of modern organizational life, because he was more into mining sector. But as the sectors differ, sometimes practices might also have to change. Despite these criticisms, Fayol's administrative theory remains a cornerstone of management education and practices. Its enduring relevance lies in its ability to provide a structured framework for understanding and improving organizational management. Now, adapting administrative management theory. Several changes were introduced to administrative management theory to help it survive in the business world. Critics argue that the theory was rigid and mechanistic due to its principles and functional approach to management. Therefore, changes in the principles were necessary. Leadership style evolved to ensure everyone participate in decision-making process, encouraging employees to improve their performance. Additionally, there were changes in employee motivation. The administrative theory originally viewed economic rewards as a sole motivation for employee. So this is all about Henry Fayol's administrative theory, and it's time for us to summarize what we have learned till now. Administrative theory has a lasting impact on the field of management by identifying 5 primary functions of management and 14 principles of administration. Fayol provides a comprehensive framework for organizing and managing businesses. His emphasis on planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating and controlling has shaped modern management practices, while his principles continue to guide organizational design, leadership, development, performance management and strategic planning. Although Fayol's theory is not without criticism, its practical applications and endurance relevance underscore its significance in the study and practice of management. I hope this lesson helped you in giving an overall insight. Thank you and happy learning.